We go to item number 1, approval of the CYFD Juvenile Justice Board grant application. Billy Clark, DCPO.
I'm Billy Clark, actually from DFL Associates, not the project office. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, all. I'm here on behalf of the Tri-County Juvenile Justice Board to request your approval of our submission of a funding proposal to fund the services and coordination of the Juvenile Justice Board through CYFD. The funding thus far has been for strategic planning and to begin program development. This particular funding proposal is then to start the full-on implementation of programs and services for juvenile justice, alternatives and diversion programs. So the funding request from CYFD is in the amount of $122,350. We have identified a 40% match in kind and through utilization of the PILT funds that have been allocated to the board to develop a citation program and a truancy response team, and for a youth mentorship program, and for all juveniles referred to, first of all, be assessed as to the appropriate placement. So the funding amounts to a portion for a contracted board coordinator and then a second contracted position for a service contractor to actually provide the services. This would be for the first year of hopefully a 4-year contract.
Let's have a motion and we'll go into discussion.
I have no motion at this time. I do have some questions.
We'll do that in the discussion. So, should we do a motion? And then we'll go into discussion.
Okay. I'll move that we approve the CYFD Juvenile Justice Board grant application.
Second.
Not at this time without getting some answers.
Well, we'll go into discussion and we'll take the vote later.
Okay. I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second discussion. Now.
Okay, now I can discuss.
Now you can discuss.
Okay, you mentioned the matching fund of the PILT fund. That would help you match. I know this board gave $30,000 last year, but that was last year, and you might not get it this year or the years after. So for you to depend on that, probably is something that you need to reevaluate.
Correct. And to get, the first year of this was really to get some programs and services to demonstrate, to collect some data, get some results, and if necessary, we would approach that through other avenues down the road. But the board felt that this was an ideal use for the PILT funds at this time.
We have a lot of requests for ideal uses, of the PILT fund. But I just want to make it clear that, you said that's part of the 40% match. And so you do understand that you'll have to go elsewhere if the commission cannot allocate some of the PILT fund to you.
Yes, the board is fully aware of that.
Okay, the other thing that I'd like to know is, I know in some of the people in Moriarty, I have yet to see anything. What are you guys doing in Moriarty and all the other towns?
So none of these services have been implemented yet, except for the youth mentorship program, which is serving youth throughout the county. So the purpose of having our temporary center located at Calvary Chapel is because it's kind of midway between Estancia, and Moriarty. But we've also designed the program so that for the assessments, they're portable. So when we have people on board to be doing them, they can go to the schools in Moriarty, Edgewood, or locations there, or anywhere in the county. But that's, in terms of what's in place so far, that's all we've got, because we don't have the money to implement the rest of this yet.
So you have a mentor program of youth,
Correct.
and how is
It's a-
it working in the schools?
Well, it's outside of school, so it's a youth employment mentorship program. So we get referrals through various sources. We're serving 10 youth at a time, and we're at that right now. And youth are from, right now we don't have any from Mountaineer because they haven't been able to find the employment mentors, but we're working on that. So I don't have the exact number of how many are in the Moriarty Edgewood area, but we do have placements there as well as Estancia. So those are the employment sites so far. And when we can find one in Mountain Air, we've got a couple of referrals that we could place.
I know I've requested from Mrs. Lincoln several times documents that show, what you're doing in all of the entities in the county. And I have yet to receive, I don't know if any of us have received any of that documentation. But I've said before, and I'll say now, it's close to home, and we have a much larger, I guess I would say, troubled youth and different things just because of the population in the Moriarty area. But it seems to be centralized here. And if it's going to be a county-wide request, then I would like to see it as to the population, the youth given the opportunity in all of the entities, to where it may be based. If you have 10 openings, then maybe 2 here, 2 there, 3 someplace, and 5 someplace.
Sure, and I wasn't aware that you'd made that request. There is a breakdown. I just don't have it with me now, but definitely it breaks it down by where youth are placed and how many. And I'll be happy to get that to you. I apologize, I wasn't aware you'd made that request, but I can provide that through. How would you like me to provide that? Would you like me to come back to the next meeting?
Well, there's several programs. One is you can bring it to the county and they can leave it in our mailbox for us to look at. But also on the pregnancy, the teenage pregnancy, I know that was in Estancia.
Yes.
But apparently we don't have kids that fool around in Moriarty. We do. But what I'm saying is that, and it may be just because of the close proximity. But I would like to see something, if it's county funds and state funds that go to the county, I would like to see that these programs, and if you have justification, if Mountain Air does not want it or Willard doesn't want it, then I would like to see the justification that they turned you down on help.
Okay. Yes, that's a different agenda topic, but yeah,
But it's the same pair of pants, just different pockets.
Billy, I have and I think it would help for all of us as commissioners, if we're not up against a time frame for these applications. I know that our former commissioner sat on that board. I don't think the 3 of us now have a full understanding. I probably have a better understanding than the other 2 commissioners, only because I sit on some of the other boards that juvenile justice and stuff are discussed. Is there a time that maybe in the next meeting that you can come in and explain all of these programs and what they do and the numbers, so that we all are on the same page and we have an understanding of, we're approving an application that we really aren't informed, other than I know that our former commissioner was informed because she sat on the Juvenile Justice Board, so she had a clear understanding. So is that something that you would be willing to do for the 3 of us to come in and...
Absolutely, and I thought you had been informed along the way, so I will be happy to come and give you an update on the programs that DFL Associates is managing. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes.
You bet.
Okay. I would feel more comfortable waiting until we have a better all of us have a better understanding of what it is that you are doing and the different programs and the ones that are implemented already and the ones that you are wanting to bring on board.
Yes, and it is very much a mixed bag. So then so then for the next commission meeting, I'll be providing updates on juvenile justice and adolescent pregnancy prevention and drug-free communities.
Please.
Mr. Chair,
So,
I can ask a question for clarification. When is this grant application due?
This grant application, because I heard a motion and a second to approve it, I thought, but this is due February 5th.
Which is
And-
before our next meeting.
And so it was a fast turnaround in terms of the release from CYFD and getting it through the Juvenile Justice Board through the month of December. But the due date for this is February 5th. I'd be happy to, if it helps distribute that now to kind of show how the programs flow. I had this for the board yesterday.
Well, the 122, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if I may.
no, go ahead.
The 122,000, that is coming from the state CYFD, is that correct?
That's coming through CYFD, correct?
Okay, so if we approve it contingent upon the understanding that the county may not be able to help you match, then that still keeps you to get the money.
Well, Mr. Chair, they have, in the application, they have the $30,000 that we appropriated last year has not been expended to this point. So they're planning on using that as match towards this application. So they have that money available.
Okay, then.
Right, sorry, I didn't make that
So
clear.
you're not counting on the PILT money for this to be applied. You're using last year's.
Last year's allocation as the match for this. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Okay. Then
Okay.
I will make a motion that we approve the CYFD.
We already have a motion.
That's right.
All we need is to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Let me state one thing for the record. In further and future applications, we need a more timeline, and that'll go for anybody. I want it to be known that anybody that comes here, we need at least one meeting prior to, so we can see more information on when you apply for grants and stuff like that.